Hello friends, so the other day I went for a swim in the ocean near where I live, and so while I was swimming I noticed this distant object. At first I wasn't quite sure what it was, but as I got closer I saw that it was a small sandbar. That's it, just a small piece of land out on the water. And so, once I reached this sandbar, I decided to relax on it a little bit and reflect about what exactly this place was. So of course, a sandbar is an island, and an island is made of land. That is, it is not made of water, which seems pretty obvious when we're hanging out on one, as I was that day. But actually, when we think about the origin of the word island, well, we'd assume it wouldn't be made of land at all, but instead that it would be made of water, because that's literally what the I in island meant. That's right, island is actually a compound of two words. We might easily recognize the second one, land, which of course has meant land since the days of the Proto-Indo-Europeans. Now, the first part of island is I, which of course probably doesn't ring any bells today, but originally it was the Old English aya, which meant island. But the problem with that word was that it sounded similar to another Old English word, aya, spelled ea, which meant water. So, to avoid confusion, speakers of Old English eventually added the word land to aya to create a modern English word, island. Also, as a side note, through the Proto-Germanic aio, both the ia in island and the Old English aya are descended from the Proto-Indo-European aqua, which meant water. It's the ancestor of the Latin acqua, which itself is the ancestor of a number of words meaning water in many modern languages, such as the Spanish and Portuguese agua, the French eau, and the Italian acqua. Also, what's interesting is that the word island is similar to the word isle, which means the same thing, of course, but is etymologically unrelated. Unlike island, isle has no Germanic roots, and instead is descended from the Latin insula. But although the two words aren't related, isle and its s did influence the spelling of island. As you can see, none of the previous iterations of the word include an S or even an S sound. So yes, all this to say, through the chart you can see that our modern word island is a combination of two words that originally meant water and land. And so, what is an island? Is it a water-filled piece of land, or is it a land-filled stretch of water? Now, etymologically, it seems to be a little bit of both, and my experience the other day would confirm that. When I started resting on the island, it definitely felt like dry land. But after I woke up from my accidental nap a few hours later, I was definitely in the middle of the water, and the land was nowhere to be seen. Thanks for watching.